Hey guys, so I'm just going to show you a couple ways to import data sets. So the easiest way to do it is just come up here to this import dataset button, and I like to do it from base. And you find your data set in whatever folder it's in and go ahead and open it up. Make sure the heading is yes and go ahead and import it. It'll pull up the data set and it'll also put some code down here. Sorry, it's hard to see. And I like to copy and paste this top line of code into my actual RMD because sometimes the RMD won't knit if it doesn't actually have that written in the code. You can also come here to the Files tab and you can just search like you would clicking through your computer, see the data set, import data. And that works just about the same way. And I do the same thing. I just copy and paste it in. You'll notice the only difference is that this will read it in read_CSV and this is read.csv. In general, I prefer read.csv, but it's really not that important. Then, if you know the name of your data set, you can just use read.csv, and you need to make sure it's in your working directory. So remember, you can use getwd to check what folder your R is going to pull from. So yep, this is the right folder. I know that that data set is in there. So I'm just going to put, type the name in there and that'll pull it up as well. So we've got those data sets coming in. You can also pull data from an online source. So I'm just going to copy this. I've got the URL. It's pretty sweet and slick. You notice it's just the same read.csv, and notice all of these are in quotes. And I can just go ahead and run this. And here's my data set. This is what that URL looks like if I pull it open. You see they're separated by commas, which is why it's able to read that in. So now we have a little workspace here. We've got several things in our working directory, and we can actually save this if we want to and refer to it later. So if we save this, it would create an R data file. And you can also import those R data files. So here's one such R data file, and you use this load, and you can just put that at the top of a document and it'll go ahead and load that data in for you. And you'll notice it had several different things that populated the global environment here. So that's very handy. Another thing to note, so some data sets will have various, they might have a question mark instead of missing data. It might say not sure when it's really is missing data, so we want it to read in as NAs. Or some data sets will just have a space, which R doesn't know that that's, empty. It sees something there, so it won't correctly categorize it as an NA unless we tell it to. So one thing that I like to do is I like to add a little, I just create a little vector. I just call it whatever I want to. I called it NAs. It looks like NAS, but, NAs. And I just put into this vector things that I think might be in my data set, or maybe I know what's in my data set. Maybe I know that there's question marks in my data set. So I'm just going to put a couple of things in here. And then you include, this is exactly the same code as above, but now it just adds another argument, na.strings. And then I just reference whatever I named this vector here. And if I run this, it'll read in anything that I really want to as an NA, and that's very useful. So there you have it. Those are a couple ways to import data.